Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This will be my Avatar: The Way of Water video for the ending of the movie, how they're setting up the sequels, all the big teasers, and the plot threads that they're going to resolve in the rest of the sequels. There were a lot of moments in the movie that seemingly went nowhere, but it's all meant to be set up for the sequels. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get the videos, and I'll separate this between the different arcs. Like, you have Quaritch's arc, you have what's going on with Jake Sully's family, then you have what's going on with Kiri herself. Careful for spoilers from the movie if you haven't seen it yet, because we'll be talking about everything that happens at the end. But starting with Quaritch's arc, so during the movie we find out that Quaritch backed up his consciousness, and back on Earth they had been growing him and most of his hardcore squad mates' avatar bodies. At the beginning of the movie, they're meant to be like the best of the worst of the humans. And they very clearly set up a Darth Vader-style redemption arc for Quaritch through the rest of the movies, however many sequels they wind up doing. Now, they said that they were going to do 5 movies, but James Cameron's like, well, we could end it with 3 movies and it would still be a satisfying ending. It just depends on how much money this second movie winds up earning. The new Avatar version of Quaritch starts out with all of the original Quaritch's memories, hating Jake Sully, wanting revenge, and full tilt working for Earth's new general, Admor, on Pandora, played by Edie Falco. She's kind of like the new version of Quaritch in this movie. She explains that her mission since the end of the last movie has been to permanently colonize Pandora for the survivors of Earth. Like, Earth is basically making Pandora its new home because the Earth is dying as a planet and humanity has to move somewhere else or else they'll die too. Earth still wants unobtainium, it's still very valuable, but also, since the events of the first movie, scientists on Earth have discovered a special fluid secreted by the brains of the tulkun whale species, which completely stopped the aging process in humans. A small vial is worth like $80 million, and it's now the most important, most valuable resource humans are harvesting on the planet. Like, they barely even mention unobtainium, like, this is the reason we're here now, this special fluid. Just also remember that most of the survivors of Earth are moving to Pandora eventually, like, that's way off in the future. The main reason Quaritch is after Jake Sully in the first part of the movie, like the first half, is because he was leading a raiding party, hurting all the generals' colonization efforts, and he wanted to stop that. Eventually, though, while this is happening, he finds that Jake Sully has been raising his own human son, calling him Spider, a boy the original version of Quaritch had sired with one of the other human women on the planet before his death. His birth name was Miles. He's named after Quaritch himself, like he gave him his own name. His full name was Miles Quaritch, so he's like Miles Quaritch Jr.
No, I am your father.
And thus begins Quaritch's Darth Vader arc, where Quaritch will probably go from not caring about the boy, because he's not even the same Quaritch, like he acknowledges that during the film, he's fundamentally a different person than the original version. He eventually begins to care about the boy as if he were his son, and slowly starts to show signs that Spider has helped him to appreciate Pandora the planet more and more, until the end of the movie where Spider saves his life. James Cameron already said that Quaritch will be one of the main antagonists through all the sequels, however many they wind up making, but here's where we get to the Darth Vader arc. Eventually, Quaritch will probably grow to appreciate Pandora so much that he gets a much longer version of the arc that Jake Sully got in the first movie, where he starts out not caring about anything on Pandora until he eventually sympathizes with the locals and helps them stop the humans from destroying the planet completely. Depending on how many sequels they wind up making, they'll speed that arc up. Like, if they end it with the third movie, then he'll probably sacrifice himself to save Pandora and his son in the third movie. Like Darth Vader redeeming himself by trying to kill the Emperor in Return of the Jedi. Now moving to Jake Sully's arc. So during Jake Sully's ending, he decides that he's done running. The new water tribe that they joined, the Metkayina, is their permanent home now, and they're going to continue to defend it aggressively in the third movie. Beyond that, we'll see. James Cameron originally teased we'd see different environments on Pandora through the different sequels, so if they do all the sequels, like 4 and 5 as well, we'll probably visit very different parts of Pandora, but if they only wind up doing the third movie, then we'll probably just stay in this water-based environment. The producer of the movie also teased that James Cameron wasn't going to take the movies back to planet Earth, because for a little while, he also teased that we might see what's happening on Earth while this is all going on through the sequels. Now it sounds like that's not the case. The other major teaser is for Sigorney Weaver's character, Kiri. She has a special connection with Awa, the life force of the planet itself, that's part of every living thing on the planet. They're setting her up to be the Anakin Skywalker of the series, to make a Star Wars metaphor, the Immaculate Conception, the special child created by Awa itself. During the flashbacks, we learned that Grace Augustine, Sigorney Weaver's human character from the first movie, discovered the life force of Awa existed in all living things on the planet. The Na'vi, the animals, the plant life, the ocean life, everything. It's sort of like her character discovered the Avatar movie version of midichlorians on Pandora. It's consciousness, so to speak. Eventually, her avatar body gives birth. It's an immaculate conception. There's meant to be no father, and the human-created avatars weren't even supposed to do that. Like, that was never part of the engineering plan when they designed them. Throughout the movie, Kiri keeps talking about how she's different from all the other Na'vi, even like Jake Sully's human-created avatar. She can literally hear the heartbeat of Awa itself. They show a couple scenes where you see the pulsing motion of the plant life around her. She listens to the planet's heartbeat. She's able to control all types of biological life on Awa, just like in the Star Wars universe, Force users use the Force to do things. The difference in Avatar: The Way of Water is that James Cameron's making more of a literal connection between Kiri and the life force of the planet, saying that she's essentially influencing the Avatar version of midichlorians that exist in all living things on the planet to do whatever she wants them to do. So she uses the ability to trap the humans using the underwater plants in the final fight. She tells the small sea creatures to light the way to her family who's trapped inside the human sunken ship. They imply that she can use it to do bigger things too, like she's just starting out, just slowly figuring out how it works. That'll continue through the sequels as she learns to use the ability, become more and more powerful. Earlier in the movie, when she directly connects with Awa using that underwater version of the spirit tree, it's meant to be like a direct connect terminal to the consciousness of the planet. The reason why she has a seizure and almost dies is because it's just too much information, too much power all at once before she's figured out how to use it. When she's doing that, she's basically plugging herself in, feeling the entire planet all at the same time. It'd be like Anakin Skywalker trying to become a Force ghost when he was like 8 years old. It would squish his mind, just accessing way too much power, way too much life force across the galaxy all at the same time. All the sequel movies are meant to continue following Jake Sully's family, and the kids will become much more important in the sequels. Like, we'll probably jump forward in time a little bit if they wind up doing all the sequels, so the kids will be much older by the final film. I think they're just setting up that Kiri is going to go full Anakin Skywalker, child of the Pandora Force, become way more powerful, and use that to defeat the worst of the humans with everyone else in Quaritch's help. Remember, Quaritch on the Darth Vader arc gonna wind up helping Jake Sully's family. But also talking about what's happening back on Earth with the humans, because Earth is in the middle of dying. Because Pandora has all these resources that can help heal the Earth, I think they'll eventually come to a compromise where Kiri, the other survivors, and whatever the final film winds up being, help heal the Earth literally using all these new powers and the new resources from Pandora, coming to a compromise, so that the humans will eventually stop trying to destroy Pandora and terraform it into something that they want. They'll just leave it alone. One of the big things with James Cameron is that he's this big ocean conservationist. Like, that's a big part of his message. You see a lot of those promos on the Avatar YouTube channel.
The expanding world of Avatar allows us to appreciate the beauty of our biomes here on Earth.
Our oceans cover 70% of the planet and have a rich diversity of life. They're a powerful force in shaping the way we live.
Without significant change, more than half of the world's marine species may face extinction before the end of this century.
They spend a lot of time talking about the real-world impact that we as people in real life have on Earth's oceans. So I think a big part of this is teasing that the humans on Earth in the world of Avatar right now are really terrible. Like, it's a bunch of rich people basically just strip mining the Earth for its resources, and they're now trying to do it to Pandora with this special fluid. So like the real ultimate villain of the Avatar movies are like super old, super rich people that just want this resource to stop themselves from aging. Eventually, I think the idea is that Kiri, the other survivors, even Quaritch, will wind up defeating those people, and like all the rest of the regular people on Earth, will grow to respect the Earth much more because of what Kiri winds up doing. And it'll be like a new beginning for humanity, but on planet Earth. Like, I don't think that James Cameron is that cynical. He's not going to kill the Earth literally during the world of the Avatar movies. But I do hope that we actually do see a little bit of what's actually happening back on Earth. I'm not expecting a ton of that during the third movie. I think that they wind up doing the fourth and the fifth movies, then we'll see more about what's happening with Earth. He did say that most of the third movie was filmed while they were filming the second movie, and it's mostly done, but it's like a 9-hour movie right now, and he still has to cut it down. There's still a bunch more footage that they actually have to shoot for it. Currently, their plan is to release Avatar 3 in 2024 around the same time that the second movie came out in December. We probably won't find out whether or not they're going to do the fourth or the fifth movie till like well into next year. Because if you remember, the original Avatar movie made over like $2 billion, but it got a really slow start. Like, it didn't start earning billions of dollars till many, many months after it had come out. Even though it's been 13 years, it still feels like this movie is going to do gangbusters. I feel like the new studio, which is now Disney because they own Fox, and technically Avatar is a Fox franchise, the studio will put some pressure on him to just like cut the runtime down to like 2.5, 2 hours, 45 minutes. Like, okay, we'll let you do all your sequels, just please just cut the movie down just like a little bit. We could always do like a mini-series, elongated director's version on Disney Plus in the far future. He also joked about that too, about wanting to release like a broken up 6-part or 8-part mini-series version that's much longer on Disney Plus or like a streaming platform. Like, here's the condensed 3-hour plus theatrical version, but also here's the streaming version that's like twice as long. Everyone post all your predictions for the sequels in the comments, and if you have any big questions about any of the big storylines or the big teasers that they set up for Avatar 3 or even the further off sequels, just write them in the comments below. There's a bunch of big stuff coming up. We're going to get some more Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania trailer videos really soon because that movie's coming out in February. So while you wait for everything, everyone click here for that brand new Henry Cavill Warhammer trailer video, Big W for Henry Cavill. And click here to learn about the Game of Thrones Jon Snow sequel from Kit Harington. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.